Ladies first.
Yuki.
Feels so good because I'm not the host today.
You are Dukhi.
I am not Dukhi, I'm Divaj. Today I will do less talking.
Then you're supposed to be there, not here. Hi, I'm Sahil.
Hi, my name is Tanya Mehta.
Hi, my name is Bhumit Shah.
And welcome to our podcast number 5.
You don't even know how many podcasts we've done, right?
Because this season has been so hectic. It's like week after week we're just like podcasting, and it's just the start of the season. Now I feel exhausted.
We started with the season, so I think we're ending with the season for this season.
Hopefully.
You just spoke like a Ferrari race engineer.
Obviously, words of wisdom you should never forget them.
Sorry guys, we have some cuckoo issues.
Imagine me editing this is going to be like, oh my god, this girl. Even yesterday when I was shooting for Fan Code, मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया, guys, I'm going to cough. So whoever's the editor, RIP to you.
So if she's coughing a lot, we can just praise Max that time. We are not Douglas though, like Max fans.
Oh my god.
But you'll need to appreciate him. When he's driving well, he's driving well.
I will appreciate him. He goes all 4 tires off the track, takes the first position, takes 5 seconds penalty.
It is true.
Very appreciated. Doesn't give the position back. Piastri has to wait for the pit stop to happen so that he can come ahead.
But he got a 5-second penalty. He had a choice. He took the penalty.
I think it's unethical but a smart move. Because the first lap, stewards are always a little okay and lenient towards the penalty. So otherwise they would have given him a 10-second. Everyone was expecting a 10-second penalty towards Max.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but they were lenient and they gave a 5
the
seconds.
replay of course clearly showed that Piastri was right.
He was ahead and there was
He was
no
ahead at the apex.
and sure, but like Max also didn't have space. But I just feel that Max got maxed by Piastri. You know, he's always been on the other side of not giving space. And he thought that okay, Piastri will move because he was so like aggressive at the start. But Piastri did not.
So glad.
So good of Piastri to do that.
There were a lot of videos that I did see online. They showed that okay, they had mixed judgments about Piastri not being there at the apex first. There were judgments where Piastri was already on the racing line and Max wasn't ready to budge, wasn't ready to slow down. What are your views on that?
I feel that it's a very classic move of Max. I've seen a lot of his race starts. If the corner is there, he'll always like go this way so that the second driver has no space and then he'll take the corner. That's what Max does and that's what works for him. Sure, it's racing. But this time I think he did the same thing. However, Piastri did not move back. He came ahead also. He was also aggressive and then he just like did not give space to Max, which was not wrong on Piastri's side. But also Max had no choice but to take that because he couldn't brake and like go behind. So he took that. And then he got a 5-second penalty or he could give position back. He took the 5-second penalty again, which I think was a pretty smart choice because he had clear air to go ahead. And
on the radios, on the contrary, these guys were not. Max wasn't ready to acknowledge the fact that he did something wrong.
there are times when drivers at that point don't realize. But if you saw later also, he saw videos and he realized. That's why in the post-race interview, he spoke good about Piastri. He didn't go like it was wrong. Sure, he was pissed with the FIA, but when he saw the videos, he realized that, okay, fine, I fucked up. But at that time, even they don't know what they're doing. So you can't blame them for standing up for themselves. They will still want to save the 5 seconds.
It's that moment where he chose what he chose and he did what he did. But I'm sure, and I would give it to Piastri because he had a great fighting spirit right out there. They could have created a kind of a very big collision and it was your first turn, it was your first lap, first turn and everyone would have been mixed up behind. But fair enough, whatever, taking the 5-second penalty, fine, take it.
But even after taking that, I was hoping that this guy will be there somewhere. He would again try coming back to first.
Yeah.
But Piastri being Piastri, no mistakes whatsoever.
Clear.
It was a brilliant race by him.
Clear.
I think between Lando and Piastri, like I have been saying since the first episode, Piastri does not make mistakes.
And I'll agree to that. He doesn't make mistakes. That's the reason why he's so consistent.
Yeah.
But he still needs to get that race pace that Lando has.
He's won 3 races out of 5.
He has, but that's obviously, I'm not gonna say he doesn't have the talent. He does.
Yeah.
the race pace, the pure race pace, isn't there, and thanks to Lando that he's able to win those races, right?
At the moment, he's like the next Australian driver after Mark Webber, after he was leading the
Correct.
championship, and which is very good enough. But let's see, it's just 5 races down the line. This race also, he performed really well, no two doubts about it. Norris, interesting.
Yeah.
Did anyone get that deja vu? Lap 13, lap 14, lap 15. Norris, Hamilton. Norris, Hamilton. Norris, Hamilton.
I was actually hoping Austria coming back, but obviously it wasn't Max in the picture.
Yeah.
Hamilton would give that side and not bang his car. That's the only difference.
I literally, when watching the race, I felt like, am I watching it on loop?
It was like exact same move.
Yeah, it was like a GIF.
Yeah. What's going on? But yeah.
But yeah, the older Brit teaching the younger Brit.
Good for Hamilton to school Lando very nicely. I was very impressed.
So Lando is learning from the GOAT.
Yeah, that's cool. Because he's not going to learn from Max. Max is not here to teach.
GOAT is not learning anything from Max.
Because
He's
he's
going
not
to
a
just
GOAT.
learn all the bad things.
Never lets you win the championship.
I'll take 4 tires off the track and everything. Fine, give me penalty. Okay.
Yeah, I'll still be on podium.
Let's see how it goes. The season is the 5th race. There are still more podiums where Max is not going to be there.
There are so many races where I feel like Hamilton in the middle is going to be like, I don't know why the hell I came in a Ferrari when Mercedes is doing so well.
Actually, a very bitter moment for him, I guess.
Yeah.
He goes out of Mercedes. The Mercedes is fighting for the podiums now.
Yeah.
And Ferrari is nowhere there. Exactly.
But he came out honest also. He's been giving out his interviews and speeches where he's saying that I am facing difficulties with Ferrari. I am facing problems in understanding the car, removing the maximum potential out of the car and everything. But at the same time, he also cancelled his holidays right now because he's going to work with the Ferrari engineers and everything on the car, like what's going wrong and what's happening with the new upgrades and everything. Of course, he's still finding his... he needs to get his aura back in that car. He needs to feel the car.
I don't think there's anything wrong in the car, per se. It's going good. Charles, on the other hand, is doing a very good job.
Fantastic job, yeah.
So it's just that 12 years of unlearning that he has to go through.
Yeah.
The brakes are different. The Ferrari is more of a engine braking biased car.
Yeah.
Mercedes was pure braking power. So I think that does make a difference on your overall driving style.
Yeah, but like even after facing so much and the way people have been talking about Ferrari and Hamilton together and everything, but all 5 races and everything, he still scored some points.
Except for the one that he got disqualified.
Well, yeah, one which was
that was
yeah,
bad.
but
That was
he's
the peak
still
Ferrari
scoring.
moment.
But then see, also I feel I can understand where the fans are coming from because there's so much expectation from Hamilton. The name is Lewis Hamilton, especially when he's in a team like Ferrari. You want him to be on podium. You want him to be like fighting for championship. But over here, he's struggling with the car. So I understand why everyone is so frustrated. But then when it comes to Lewis, he's just like, I don't think there's any scope of improvement this season. And he's like almost given up. It's like deja vu of Mercedes, when he was like not interested last season.
Ferrari is actually... Okay, Charles is leading Ferrari, for example, as a team, and the second driver is still helping get points. It's a much more better scenario than
It's an active
Red
team
Bull.
comparatively.
Yeah, I would say a much more better scenario than Red Bull.
See, the thing is, the Red Bull second driver seat is only not fixed.
Exactly. Like, how are you even comparing this to Red Bull right now? The point is that even with Ferrari, there are 2 capable number 1 drivers.
The point is to get points, which you guys are not getting.
I don't think Red Bull even cares about.
1 second. Yuki go back. Did Yuki start feeling, oh my god, Gasly is my teammate. He's my he's the driver in the same team, and let's have a crash again like he used to have previously. Is that the reason? Did he get some?
Actually, Yuki and Gasly never had so many crashes. They were driving in the same team pretty well.
They were, but they obviously had each other as their biggest rivals.
Yeah, but they were also pretty much like friends.
Or was he removing all the issues from the last race, seeing Alpine perform continuously, and this time I'm like, you know what, I can't perform, let's remove Alpine.
So you think Yuki just went bombarding towards Alpine and it wasn't a racing incident?
No, I mean, if I see the replays, I see like a slow motion of the whole scenario that happened, or they're on-car cameras at the moment and everything, it actually feels like Yuki shouldn't be at that place where he was, right near the back wheel of the tire and just going in. It should have been a fair amount of distance, because it was not that they were in the first turn or the second turn or whatever, they were ahead. At the same time, the cars had started a little spreading out. He could have managed it.
So the thing is, my view on this was Yuki was in the inside line. Then there was Gasly, who was way out.
Yeah.
But to try and make the corner, he had to come in. Yuki was in his blind spot. So was Gasly on his blind spot. So they are just normally taking a turn. Yuki tried breaking it down. He tried breaking his speed.
Yeah.
It was too late. That's what I feel.
It was a pure racing incident. Why is this like a podcast which is against Red Bull? It's like,
कैसा लग रहा है?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे. तुझे कैसा लग रहा है?
Feels like a family getting divorced.
For proper family getting divorced is actually Sainz and Charles. Yeah, they were a great pair in Ferrari.
I think more than that, it was earlier Sainz and Norris.
Yeah.
They started off being the best pair.
Yeah.
Then Sainz and Charles. Which are Sainz हर जगह जाके नया family चालू कर रहा है.
I know.
And being the elder brother this race as well.
Yeah. He told. Yeah, that was cool.
Earlier last season he did it for his own benefit, and I like how he did it for the team's benefit this time. He's like, ठीक है, he did not have any chance of going a place above, but he could at least just close up the gap somewhere. He was at somewhere around 14 seconds off.
Something off, yeah.
He went down till 22 or 23 seconds, but he was so good and calculated with Albon that he maintained that distance, did not let Albon come into the rear of his car.
Yeah.
Maintained a good 800ths of a gap, or 700ths to the max. But that was brilliant by them.
He wanted his teammate also to score points, and actually him to not lose points from the car behind him.
Correct.
So he was very clear, and I guess there was a point of conversation between Williams and the drivers and everything, and it was Sainz was like, copy, yeah. His
He's being a
copy
team
also
player.
was very positive, like okay, let's do this.
Fair enough.
Let's get it for the team. Let's get both
Correct.
the drivers into the points. It was
Like
very
he had
good.
an aim of going P8
Yeah.
towards the end, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was at P8. So he had established his aim. Like, as much as points the constructors get, it's the best for them.
Yeah.
And Hadjar was going crazy
Ah,
throughout the
yeah.
race.
I love Isaac. I've been watching him since F2, and I was really waiting for him to enter F1, and I think he is.
He's getting
learning.
the proper grip and everything. Like also VCARB, both the drivers coming, of course 10th and 11th, one in the points, but VCARB also performed well. Williams was very good right above it. Then came Hamilton and everyone's Mercedes this time 5th and 6th. Somewhere down the line, the race after 30 or 32nd lap, it felt like okay, this is going to be the grid.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think it started off being a very interesting race.
Yeah.
The first half was very interesting. It was like a typical Bollywood movie.
Yeah.
Grips you till the interval.
100%.
As soon as your pit stop started, everything just settled down. That was Japan again.
Yeah.
This is what it is. You sit, you watch, you have your popcorns, you're done.
For Jeddah, it was quite a boring race.
Yeah, I was expecting a very interesting race where towards the end people would be going crazy fighting for the position. They were trying. I wouldn't say they were not. They were trying. That's when Bortoleto and Alonso happened.
Alonso happened. Ooh.
That was so
It was too good. I think he was just being aggressive to get back to the racing line, and Alonso was trying to just take the gap. They didn't see each other.
And the funniest part is that Alonso manages Gabriel, and then after the race, he's like, he's not getting any dinner on the plane right back home. And that was so funny. Like, the banter was really nice to watch.
Banter was good, plus apna Alex Dada commentary. He was like, this Alonso should charge him a 5%.
5%.
hike.
Yeah. Which
He's becoming savage day by day. No, I think it was not Alex this time, it was David Coulthard, DC.
Ah, he said that.
I think he said that.
Oh.
I guess, yeah. I think it was DC who said it. Alex is spoiling everyone in that box.
Yeah, Alex has become really aggressive
There was
these days.
He's just
such
similar
a
to Albin.
tiny gap when the replay comes and everything. All of a sudden, like Alonso's just scraping through somehow.
With that
But-
lockup,
Oh.
I thought he was gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
And I think we were discussing that on our group that please don't be a safety car. Like she was on it. We were like, okay, someone should crash.
I didn't want a safety car because I didn't want Lando to have that benefit.
If there would be a safety car, 100%, Lando would be on that benefit. But then obviously, we wouldn't see a Australian leader in the championship.
Which I think is super exciting for me. Watching Oscar and Max fight for championship is more interesting than watching Lando and Max fight for championship.
100%. I feel this is gonna be the most interesting season if these two keep fighting for the championship. बीच में अपना मैक्स आ जाता है, रसल भी आ जाता है, ऐसे धक्का मारने से. But yeah, I think that's going to be the most interesting part.
This is the first race Russell is not on the podium.
He was almost.
Almost. He was not there. But he got swapped by Leclerc, and which 100%. Is very good. Ferrari getting the first podium. Finally. Good for them. After
and
after
I think the upgrades are working well. So I'm assuming after a couple of races more, it should be crazy to see Ferrari fighting for the top spot. You never know.
Yeah. And now they also have a break, so they might be working
1
week gap.
Break. I think later around after 2-3 races more there is a 2-week gap.
Yeah.
They don't have a summer break this time, so I think they have to be constantly working and constantly developing all the upgrades.
Yeah, but the season is super hectic. Whenever I call to book the studio, she's like, "Are you racing every weekend?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't know what to tell you." It's a very hectic season.
Somewhere down the line, we felt like this current Jeddah circuit was boring. But have you guys seen the new one that is going to come up? The Qiddiya circuit in Jeddah. It is an amazing circuit. Yeah, it's the level up circuit. At a particular point, it's got this infinity pool, which is going to be right on top of the track, where people can literally be there and see.
Sad that Raikkonen's not racing anymore. He would just go and sit by the pool. He's like, I'm not racing anymore.
I swear.
Actually, life is good.
When, you know, amongst the whole region of Gulf, where they were doing it in Qatar, they were doing it in Bahrain, and now Jeddah. The one in Jeddah, which is going to be the new one, it is landscape surrounded by mountain ranges of Qiddiya mountains, and then you have this track. It's got more turnings, and it's properly managed, where it's elevated down with so many amenities that is going to come up. Toto Wolff spoke about it in one of his interviews that he was having, that now Jeddah is going to be much more interesting, and it's going to be that one, you know how we feel like Wembley. It is going to be one of those kind of circuits for the Gulf, for the complete Gulf region. Can't wait, honestly. I want to experience that.
When are they due for racing over there? I think
27.
27 or 28?
That's soon.
They're fast in construction.
They have all the space.
Yeah.
They're not constrained by
They're saying 27, but probably. But whenever it
you
happens,
never know. They might just do it in 27. You never know. All money.
It'd be fun. I would really want to experience that.
I hope we have visa by then.
I think you will.
You will.
You will start getting visas for that. Now, if they're making such a good track.
And they know that India is a market. It's definitely growing market.
What do you think is the top 4 fastest constructors right now?
Top 4 constructors.
The fastest on the track. Like, who would you rank as your first, second, third, fourth fastest car on the track?
Okay.
Team wise, no, not like.
Team wise. I'm not going for drivers.
First is McLaren. This time Red Bull was the second fastest car on track. But if you're going team wise,
I'm going for team wise. Then we come back to, okay, Max did get out more than what the car had to offer.
Then I feel Red Bull is fourth. Then I think it's McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. Because I feel with consistency, if you're seeing, both the drivers, I think in Mercedes have overachieved the car, have been scoring way more points than Ferrari. You know, their strategies are working, tire degradation, they are both handling it well, they're both performing under pressure, they're both scoring points. So overall, I feel Mercedes is doing a better job as a package. And Ferrari, they're struggling because Hamilton is still like kind of figuring out the car, and like Charles is.
I would say that, okay, Mercedes is a good car, no doubt, but the tire degradation was crazy this race. Strategies were out of the park the previous race. So you have no idea about, you can't go through because of that. I'm just talking about the basic, according to the pace, what do you guys feel?
Okay, if it's just pace, I still feel it's McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and then Red Bull.
I'd say McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and then Red Bull. Yeah, I would swap on the Mercedes and Ferrari position and everything.
Okay. I would go for McLaren. Obviously, it's given.
Gates given.
They are the fastest. Second, I would go for Ferrari. Third, I would go for second, I would go for Mercedes. It's a very hard call between Ferrari and Red Bull right now. They're almost at par. So, because if you go to see the last laps towards the end of the Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc was going crazy behind Max. Couldn't overtake. Maintained that healthy gap, and he did not. Max couldn't even gap him.
Yeah.
So that way, it just shows that they both are at a good
At par,
at par at the pace. Yeah. So I feel that they are at par. Let's see. Hopefully in Miami you get a clearer picture with all the upgrades coming in.
But in this ranking, there could be a wild card, honestly, with either Alpine or Williams.
You never know, even Haas is in the picture.
Haas actually did not perform this race.
That was the surprising part. Yeah. That was the biggest because they were in points last race, both the cars.
Yeah.
This time, nothing.
Yeah, even the race before that, I think Haas performed. One car was in points, and then this season again they were like not there anywhere. That was sad to see.
You mean the race? This race.
This race they were not there anywhere.
So look, I mean, everyone's been trying on. If you go to see the constructors table on the middle.
Order is changing every race.
Yeah, every race.
Every race you have a new 5th constructor, 6th constructor, 7th
It's
constructor.
like Williams just posted out P5 after 5 races and everything. So now they've come up. First it was Haas, which was there. So it's rotating, it's shifting, but I believe there's a healthy competition out there also between Haas, Alpine and Williams.
Correct.
Currently Sauber you can't consider 110%.
Even VCARB is like
Sometimes not, but it can be a contender for 7th position or
at the top.
Yeah.
I think that's the max they could do
for
VCARB. Again, because Lawson still has to get a grip on the car.
Yeah.
Hadjar already has. But it's both the drivers have to perform to get some points, right?
Correct.
Because Lawson still, I don't feel, has the grip of the car yet. So
I think he's extremely overconfident without realizing that he is not performing the way he should be.
Because he got a shortcut to Red Bull last year. Like he got a shortcut to VCARB last year towards the end.
Yeah. But last year he was actually way more aggressive also, I think, because he was like new.
He was schooled, right? He was then schooled after that race. So obviously he's going to tone it down. And now that he's not showing anything on the track, that aggression's zero. At least you have to show something on the track.
It's more like he's finally realized or he's understood, like, he's fucking it up. And these could be his final last chances before he's been thrown out.
Yeah, do you think he's going to be replaced?
So almost sure about it because obviously this race he did not DNF. Yeah. He did. Did he get some penalty?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, he took advantage. Yeah.
So he's getting penalties every race. Yeah. At least, this time he finished the race.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But if it keeps going on like that, before Red Bull could remove him out of VCARB, FIA would. He would get a race ban with penalty points.
They already are set, every time they see Lawson on the track with the car and everything.
They're ready.
10 second 10 second वाला कुछ ready रखो. देना ही पड़ेगा इसको.
Who do you think is replacing him?
Colapinto.
You think
I think that's the best guy to replace him.
Colapinto has actually, somewhat very similar vibes to how probably Kimi is. They both, those young drivers and everything, and seeing Colapinto out there last year perform in some races and everything, I also believe if he gets the right amount of nurturing and proper progress is shown and he's been guided correctly and everything, he has a very good potential.
Yeah, he came into points with Williams last year's car.
Yeah.
It was good.
And also he was like so natural with the PR and like, everything around that. He's like a whole package who's ready to burst.
I think, Red Bull needs that.
Yeah.
It needs a whole package to just come, learn a little more, learn the Red Bull way, and then just get promoted.
But my favorite part about VCARB is definitely their social media. Are you like checking it out?
No, I haven't.
They are out and about doing like Kardashian videos.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so Gen Z, and they're like doing all these like mimicking things like, who are you texting? texting who? You know, and like these things are said by Isaac and Lawson, and it's the most hilarious thing.
Why can't they do something like, I need to take care of my car, I need to start driving, I need to learn how to drive.
I need to not get penalties. It should start with that. That way he's gonna get a lot of points in penalties and not on the championship.
Come on, how can we not talk about the Oscar Piastri overtake? Golden overtake.
I think that should be listed as one of the best overtakes of the
overtakes.
season
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I don't know what are the other overtakes coming in, but going on that outside dirty part of that track and just hammering the accelerator.
I was scared that they might just crash, but he went for it, and I was like, dude, what the hell just happened?
I was scared about the fact that he's on the dirty side of the track and he would just slip.
Yeah.
And he would just dart into the other driver, and that would be a massive crash.
Yeah.
It's at good amount of
The way he
280
did
to 70.
that overtake, it felt like he'd been practicing it.
Where? It was
Just
different.
technically where
He was just too perfect at it.
Yeah, that's like he knew what he wanted to do. He knew how to do it, and he did it, irrespective of dirty side of the track or not. He just wanted to do it, and he did it. It just felt like
He was
there,
extremely
yeah.
confident that ye to main kar lunga. Yeah. I love that overtake, and then you see like Lando on the other side, you know, like trying and then he's like, okay, fine, next time I have to do it the other way around and I'll do it. And then Hamilton goes like, okay, hey, you know what, I'm going in the pits, so do whatever the hell you want, bye.
We could vote in this one, but I saw it pretty late. We could best overtakes ka you have a voting going on along with the driver of the day. That gets me back to driver of the day. How did Max get this?
I have no idea.
no, I don't think so. That
Like
was
there
correct.
there was Oscar deserving that
Yeah.
fairly because of the overtake. Lando, for a change, did deserve it this race. He actually worked for it, starting P10, and he's finishing
P4.
P4.
6 positions again.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
It's
say
good at a street circuit.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
The time when Lando fans should not be giving him driver of the day, they like gift it to him, and when he actually deserved it, they did not even like consider giving it to him.
100%. Like there were many better contenders for it. But
Who did we vote for?
Science. Because of the team play, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I did convince myself and you. Even this guy supported for science.
Yeah, who was I going for?
You're going for
Max.
No. I was going for Isaac. Yeah, I was going for Isaac.
Going for Hajar because he stuck to the points and he was driving good without any mistakes. That was true. He had few beautiful overtakes as well. Even he came up 4 positions, 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah.
But I think Lando did deserve this one. Apart from all the ones that he's gotten, this he did.
This
deserve.
race we've seen really good overtakes. It was just not Isaac did it.
Bortolotto
Piastri
did.
Ollie did. Ollie did. They finally, thank you. They showed Ollie.
Kimi was on hard tires. Hamilton being on medium, but he went for it. He
That's
did it.
true. And plus, Kimi had the fresher tires.
Fresher
as well.
tires,
So
yeah.
he had that superior grip and he went for it. I think Kimi is as well very brutal about overtakes. If he has the gap,
He's just gonna go for it. That's really cool. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Kimi to fight with Max now. Oscar ka time aa gaya. Max learned, okay, there are people like me. Now Kimi will also go, like, there are 2 drivers like me on the track. I have to be careful.
Okay, let me ask you all a question. Do you think that Max is threatened by Oscar? Or is he more threatened by Lando?
I think more towards
Piastri.
Because he's similar in the racecraft. He's similar where he doesn't make any mistakes. The only thing I feel Piastri needs to improve is on the race pace. If it was on the other side, if it was Lando in P1, let's just consider as a hypothetical situation, the gap would be way more than 3-4 seconds.
Yeah.
Because of that pure race pace that he has. I think throughout the race, Norris was much faster than Piastri. Though Piastri had that clear air in front of him. Lando was in the traffic here and there trying to overtake cars. He was still going faster than. Now there will be a question that there was DRS and everything. But let's even remove DRS when he wasn't even the DRS range for the car ahead. He was still going faster.
I think Lando was faster than Piastri throughout the season, throughout the weekend, except the qualifying fiasco that happened with him because of which he lost.
I honestly feel that he would have been a very strong contender for P1 against Max
Yeah.
because obviously it is a more superior car. And they would have easily taken it. And because Oscar doesn't go that quick on the track, Lando would have. So it would have been Lando, Max, Piastri, ideally.
I mean, having said that, the gap should have been exactly what it was in Bahrain, 13, 14 seconds at least
No,
at the first.
I wouldn't agree to that. Bahrain has a lot of straight stretches, and you have that speed advantage that McLaren has. That's the reason why they could go for those gaps.
What do you think would have been the ideal first and then the rest of the cars? Like 3, 4
First and
was right
second?
now.
Yeah, I would say it would come around maximum 8 or 9 seconds at least.
8 to 9.
Like that should have been the minimal gap.
Okay.
Obviously, above that depends on how the cars perform and everything. But that should have been the ideal gap. Where Red Bull and McLaren, that's the actual gap between those two.
Oh, I have a question for you guys actually, a very interesting one. It just came in my mind when you all were talking. No. It's a very interesting topic I think that we can actually have a discussion about is, do you think that there are 3 choices? Okay, there are just 2 choices. Do you think in 2026, Max should move to another team or should he retire?
New team.
I feel retire.
Even I feel retire. I'm on that for sure.
I feel retire.
Yeah.
I believe new team. He's got a lot more inside him for many more years.
100% he's got inside him, but where I'm coming from is that I feel he's achieved what he had to. Whatever he's achieving now is honestly bonus. He's happy with what he's doing, and I think at this point he should be with his family. He should invest in his businesses. He should do other stuff because I don't want him to be another Alonso or another Hamilton where it's like,
Struggling to get another title.
Yeah.
He's on a high, he should just go out on a
and
high.
you know what, I feel that people who have just started watching F1, like when people say Alonso's GOAT, why are you saying that? And then when people say, oh my god, but Bottas was so amazing, I'm like, but he was always in stake. Why was he amazing? Because, and I don't want that to happen with Max. Like Max has,
Because there are much better drivers coming in.
Yeah,
Once
because
they
younger,
learn,
new drivers,
once they get
yeah.
used to it, once they're nurtured to the whole Formula 1 way of driving. I think
It
they might.
also will now depend upon his decision and choice. Like as we spoke last time also with the clause, if they're not in the top 3, Red Bull's not in the top 3, he's allowed to exit and sign with another team. At the same time, when that is hyping up, at the rumors that Aston Martin is giving him like 200 plus, 300 plus
300 million
million
pound.
contract,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you never. I'm still saying he's not.
but then I think he's earned the money. He has a private jet, he has a yacht. I don't think it's the money that's going to get him to Aston Martin. Either it's going to be the hunger to create the whole team with Adrian Newey, that it's a new project for him, or I think he should just retire, chill, and he's achieved what he has to and let people remember him for what he did.
I don't feel he should transfer into another team because I somewhere see how Ricardo kept shifting.
Yeah.
That might happen to Max because he is used to the team making a car around him. And it's established out there. You go, for example, towards Aston Martin. Papa Stroll is not going to make a car according to Max. Adrian knew he might, but then Stroll's kid is also
But I think if he goes to Aston, Papa Stroll needs to realize I either have to choose business or I have to choose my son. I've given too much to my son. Now let's choose business and let's have Alonso 33rd and Max to his 5th or 6th, whatever it is at that time. In the end, he's also a businessman.
That's true. He's an amazing businessman, no doubt. But getting the whole team to change around the way they approach generally,
Yes.
it's gonna be a task. And they've gotten a good
than a
recruitment
task,
spree
it's-
right now.
More than task, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And when I say pain in the ass, he already has a pain in the ass. That's Stroll driving in Aston Martin. He can't take too much.
And imagine that if you
Soul and
basically get Max Verstappen into your team, part and parcel you get yours Verstappen.
Yeah.
That's another headache.
Yeah.
I think not a headache, but yeah, he does stir things around. And if he could stir things around Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, the rest of the teams are paplu for him.
Talking about Helmut Marko, he is looking for a successor. Sebastian Vettel. What do you think about that?
He would be a better person than Helmut Marko is.
I think if Sebastian Vettel comes to Red Bull, things will drastically change for good.
I think it'll turn into a team that focuses on all their drivers. It'll turn into a team where they keep giving that time towards all the rookies. They let them get used to Formula 1. They've just been out of Formula 2. They are getting signed by Formula 1 teams. They'll get that time. Like, he's a brilliant mentor. We saw it during his last season. And he was being a mentor throughout the race as well.
He could unify the team. That is
That's
what
true.
is
I think
lacking.
he learned that once he shifted to Ferrari after Red Bull. Red Bull, he was the most hated driver. He turned into the most loved driver once he was in Ferrari. I think that changed a lot. That whole period changed him a lot. Again, as a driver as well, he was amazing. He has a lot to teach. I think no other guy can.
But then that change, even if that change is supposed to happen, that change should technically happen right at the start of the season.
Obviously.
Of course, I thought it happened this season.
Mid-season, it doesn't make sense.
It's going to be 20.
But it should start coming in as a news whenever it gets confirmed. Not right now, but say in mid or towards the end and everything. That is when the whole scenario would change. Everyone would start feeling more comfortable. They'll be waiting. They'll be excited for the new season to happen, and the whole team be like, okay, you know what?
The motivation, the morale, and everything. I think post August, they anyway start working on their next season car properly. So that should be the best period for them.
Yeah, I feel that Red Bull as a whole chaotic team might just become calmer and humbler if Vettel comes in.
Next race. After a week's gap, is Miami.
We can chill.
Yeah, I think next Sunday I'm not meeting you guys.
Yeah, same.
Like this coming Sunday. But yeah, what do you guys feel is gonna be the Miami GP podiums?
This is a bit tricky.
It's a gap. Now we know there are cars coming with upgrades.
I would say for Miami,
Choose one of the McLarens as the top
one.
P1.
Yeah.
Just choose one of them.
I would go for Lando.
Okay.
Lando would be P1.
Okay.
P2 is gonna be Russell. P3 is gonna be Max or Charles.
No Piastri in top 3?
No.
Interesting. Yeah, that's bold. I would like it if Lando wins in Miami only because he won his first race in Miami. But for the plot and to make things spice up, I think I want to see Russell win. That I think would be really fun.
Russell as P1?
Yeah, Russell as P1 would be fun. Yeah, because it would like change things, you know, like in.
It will stir it up.
Yeah, it will make it more interesting.
But then what's a P2 and 3?
My P2, I think it should be Oscar, and P3 would be either Lando or Max. And somewhere I would like to see Kimi also. If that happens, I would be happy.
Kimi is going to be either 4th or 5th.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If it happens, I would be happy, but chances are very less. Yeah.
It's going to be Lando and Piastri locking up the front row. P3, I'm genuinely hoping for Charles to come back. Because the upgrades are coming in soon. Might be where Hamilton gets a grip on the car. There'll be a fight on P3 because the car is fast. And if Hamilton catches the pace, he can drive the way Max drives Red Bull. Get more out of the car.
Yeah, I want to see aggressive Lewis, man. Like, it's always fun to see him on track. Yeah, I want to see some hammer time. I actually have a very interesting fun fact. So, talking about the hammer time, it reminded me. I was watching this Charles Leclerc interview and, you know, like somebody asked him about the words of wisdom story. And then he said that he and his engineer have so many things that they have said to each other on radio messages that they decided that every time they said something super funny, they would add it to the words of wisdom. So they have a pocket of things that they've always spoken about called words of wisdom. That's why when he said the water thing, his instant reaction was, let's add that to the words of wisdom.
I'd like to see that list now.
I want to see that list. Yeah.
Because Brian speaks some stupid shit on the radio.
And oh my god, that day when they showed Brian is the first time that I actually saw him, you know, on like the screen and everything talking to Charles. I'm like, This personality does not match what he says on radio. He looks like, yeah, this does not, this guy I never thought would be what he's saying on radio. He looks like this geek, techie guy, and then he's saying this stuff.
Looks super smart, and then he
Yeah.
goes like, "It was the water."
Words of wisdom. Like, it's very interesting. I want to see that words of wisdom section of, yeah, it should be in a museum of Formula One.
Now, okay, now give me your wildest prediction of what would you or I or she would do.
I can just say
Because we won the previous round.
yeah,
We had a deal where we would do a shoey if both the Red Bulls were in point.
correct.
Thank you to Yuki, we did not have to do that.
No more jute se daru.
Okay, fine. If Max wins in Miami, I'm going to do a show.
One second.
She knows that it's not
wins-
happening.
Huh?
She knows that it's not happening, that's why she's going for it. Okay.
No, you say Max wins like P1, okay?
Yeah.
P1, but you always remember this, that if he wins, you do a shui, but before that, through our previous agreement, you still have half a bottle to down.
अरे I'll down it यार मेरी तबीयत खराब है यार woman I'm sick.
Yeah, I would say if Ferrari comes in either of P1, 2 or 3, either of the podiums, any one Ferrari, we will share a bottle of champagne, me and him.
Not 1, 2, 3. Go for P1. Go bold. Actually, fine. Yeah, P1 is not gonna happen. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Sure. Yeah. Okay, fine. So if either of the Ferraris is on podium, you all are having a bottle of champagne while we're recording the podcast.
And to make it spicier, if Hamilton comes P3
Yeah,
or P2 or P1, either,
either.
on the podium, one bottle for him, one bottle for me.
Yeah, cool.
Done.
Done?
Done.
You okay with that?
Done.
That's it, done. We are done with this.
See you after the gap.
I'm not meeting these guys on Sunday. Just like stay away from me.
Stop being Russell everywhere.
Russell should win in Miami. I think it's gonna be so cool.
You just don't want us to drink, do you?
तो फिर मैं भी नहीं पी पाऊंगी ना.
तुझे तो वैसे ही पहले का पीना है.
तबीयत खराब है उसको समझ नहीं आता है क्या? बाय गाइस.